office, our lending dollars have increased 50% over the last 10 weeks versus the first 10 weeks in 2009. And this is a few weeks. This is a few weeks old, so that percentage might have increased. In the first 100 days of the Recovery Act, there's been over $113 million in loans made to Ohio small businesses.
Have the rules changed, or is it just because there's so many?
Well, when you say you mean with the lending? Well, this money, the $375 million, that is just for the stimulus money. So once that money runs out, the normal guarantee with the 7A is anywhere between 70 to 85%. So once that the stimulus funds have run out, then it will revert back to the old programs. But it all still works the same. It's just right now to give some incentive to the lenders as well as help small businesses get loans. That money was allocated to the SBA for these lending programs. Okay, out of that portion of that initial 375, $255 million have went just for the ARC loan program. And this is what it is. It is a loan program that is designed to give what the agency is calling viable small businesses who are suffering an immediate financial hardship a little bit of temporary relief.
Shannon, is the 255 Ohio related, or?
That is nationwide. Yeah. And I believe when the agency was drawing this up and they first announced this, they said it would be around 10 to 12,000 loans. Maybe I'll check on that, but I believe it would be done nationwide. So this is nationwide dollars.
One of the things I read a couple weeks ago, whether it's accurate, I don't know, but they estimated that about half of the banks would participate in the ARC program, and I thought the participation would be at a higher level than that. Is that typical of like a 7A or?
Well, this is part of it is this is a new program. Okay, any bank can participate with SBA. Anybody, there's a couple forms to fill out, so any lender can participate. So I think what is happening in the very beginning, everybody wanted to know about this program, and it just was lenders could start accepting applications on June 15th. It was a little slower getting started than what was projected or what was thought, in my opinion. But now lenders have started coming on board, and part of it is there's a lot of internal processes that the lenders have to set up because it's new. And then a lot of them, which now I can say, like National City Bank has an 800 number. There's a Huntington Bank which has an 800 number. So internally they have set up these programs and policies to accept these applications, whereas this is just here very recently, like within the last few weeks. Now, to kind of get into a little bit more of your question, it seems here recently more lenders are coming on board. However, what we are finding is that lenders are primarily wanting to lend to their own customers. So you come into a case where you have a small business borrower who fits all this criteria, who their lender is either still thinking about whether they're going to participate in the program, or they have said that they are not going to participate in the program. So we have found there are a few lenders who are taking applications from outside. But in our district, we have, which just today, we have approved 13 loans from various lenders. I think it was 8 lenders. So I think it's this is still pretty new. Let's say we're almost into what, 6 weeks maybe? Maybe almost 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. So, there's a lot of applications out there, and I was trying to find out today to get a good timeline. The most important thing to tell borrowers is to be prepared. You know, there is some work on their end that they need to do, as well as on the lender side. There is quite a bit of paperwork. However, what the borrower, you know, needs to keep in mind is it is a no-interest loan.
Right. So that's
It's $35,000, which, you know, it's just to pay those, you know, whether it's a note, you know, whether you've got rent, if you've got a line of credit, you've got business credit cards, you can pay that off, and then you're going to free up some cash flow. You know, and some of the things I'll kind of pass over when you know, so I'm talking about now, but. You know, it's not for a business that's new. It's not for somebody that wants to. I would talk to a lady who she wanted to move and she wanted to buy a computer. It's just not for that. You know, it's for those businesses who their sales have gone down and, you know, they just can't make. They're just having a hard time. So it's just to kind of pay those, and the money does not go to the borrower. The monies go directly to your payee, to your vendor, however it is. So the borrower, the small business, never touches it. So.
That's one thing too. I was having lunch with someone from National City a few weeks ago, and I asked if they were, you know, implementing any of this and how they were proceeding. And he said that at first they were waiting to see what the other banks were doing, just to kind of hang tight to see what others were doing. And then he said, secondly, we are going to do it, but it will only be to our own customers.
Right, and another thing to think of too is you have SBA policies, what we are, and then the bank, they are making the loan. It is their money, and even though it's 100% guaranteed, they can make some additional policies, such as, for example, I do know that National City Bank will not pay credit cards. They have there's a certain debt, not debt ratio, but a debt that you have to have with them in order to qualify for this loan. It's like $1,660.
Right.
Yes, so it's, you know, and it's in the same, you know, banks don't want to lose any money. It is a little bit of paperwork, and I have heard some gripe or whatever that this is all this work for $35,000. So now, it is what I don't know. It is what it is, and I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good program. I think it's a matter of everybody getting on board. And if you have you've had a small business client that you've had for 15 years or maybe 5 years, and they're in that point and you believe in them and they have a good business, I mean, this $35,000 is going to help, but it just takes everybody coming together. And but it does seem here, like in the last few weeks, the lenders are getting on board. The lenders are doing it. So maybe it's just a matter of kind of what Amy commented on, of seeing what the other person is doing. Because I guess one thing you could say, if you're a borrower and you are a good business and you're in this scenario, and maybe you could say, well, I'm going to take my deposits elsewhere. I'm going to take my business to this lender. Will you look at my information? We can sit down and talk, and then if they would be willing to do this loan, you know. So maybe it's a matter of one person looking to see what the other is doing, and then everybody getting on board. It's that maybe, and you know, I think a lot of it too is the banks getting their policies. How are they gonna field all these calls? How are they gonna take a call center from, you know, thousands of small business owners wanting to try to apply for these loans?
Shannon,
So-